Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Hopefully you guys can hear me properly. Welcome to AMS Live. My name is Boy. It is Friday, May 5th, Liberation Day in the Netherlands. And how do we celebrate it? By having it a normal working day. Now, yesterday evening, for the first time in several months, runway 18 center, 36 center was used again for departures, and at the moment parallel landings are taking place. So both 18 right and 18 center are at the moment in use for arrivals, which is interesting because we haven't seen that in a while, which means planes arriving for 18 center will be visible from the distance, and planes landing on 18 right will be visible up close. Now, at the moment it seems that the arrivals are directed to 18 center, this being a 777 from Emirates arriving from Dubai. Looking at flight radar, I don't see any airplanes directed to 18 right anymore. Probably a matter of time. Now, at the moment the sun is still out, although at the moment it is hiding behind a cloud where I am standing. It is about 15 degrees centigrade or approximately 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Goedemorgen Connie, good morning Chunky, good morning Benjamin, good morning Bogdan, and good morning Michael Nobis. Hope you guys are all doing well. I actually undressed my hoodie and am standing here in just a t-shirt. When the sun gets out from behind the clouds again, it is warming up nicely already. Now, the weather forecast for today is not that great. It is said that rain showers are coming in from the south later in the day. We'll have to see how the morning is going to develop. For the next couple of hours it looks like it's going to stay dry. But this is one of those days that you also have to keep a close eye out on the weather radar, just to make sure that you don't get caught off guard. Now, the wind is blowing from the southwest at the moment, and the weather is also coming from the south. So, standing where I am standing, you should be able to see rain showers arriving beforehand. So yeah, the Zwanenburgbaan reopened yesterday after having been closed for several months for maintenance. The next airplane to land on 18 Center is this Dreamliner arriving from LAX. Hey Martin, goedemorgen. Good morning. In the meantime, a gentleman duck just landed over here in the water. Had a nice flare during touchdown. Another Dreamliner arriving on 18 center. No, this is... Hey, oh, this is... I'm looking wrong. I'm looking at the plane that is following after this. This is an A330-200. Let me have a look. Multitasking. In the early morning, still a bit difficult. This is an A330-200 arriving from Edmonton, Canada. Now let me have a look at the app that specifies the current runway usage. According to the app, One Night Ride is still open. You would almost begin to wonder. Hey Alvarez, goedemorgen. Wave back. So Alvarez and me are the only people at the moment out here. Liberation Day. But it is still a normal working day for most people in the Netherlands, ironically. So this is a Dreamliner from KLM arriving from Delhi. 787-10, the biggest of the family. In the meantime, good morning Elske and good morning Yorkshire Biker. Good to see you all. Hope you are all doing well. Now I still don't see any inbound traffic for 1A's right. There is another airplane arriving on 18 center. Now, where is it? There it is. Sometimes it's like looking for a needle in a haystack on this small camera screen, also with reflection of my face being illuminated by the sun. Another 787-10 from KLM arriving from San Francisco, this. Now the birds over here are already very active and chattering. Two mopeds passing me by. Just about the only traffic over here on the cycling path. No pedestrians, no cyclists. Hey there, ALV dog, good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. So yeah, 18 Center, 36 Center, open for business again. I think it was yesterday evening that I saw it for the first time. Saw that some departures took place. In the meantime, there is traffic coming this way. The first airplane to arrive is going to be an EasyJet A319 arriving from Bristol. A 14-year-old airplane. Let's see, where is it? I think it is over there. Just about visible. This airplane had its first flight in July 2008. And seems that more traffic is being directed to 18 right at the moment. Now, let me also see if maybe twisting. Oh, let me fixate my tripod for a moment there, see if maybe the angle of my phone mount can be adjusted so that I don't... Yeah, this is better. Less reflection. Right. So two planes at the moment visible. The first one is the EasyJet A319 arriving from Bristol. Behind it is an A320neo from Vueling arriving from Barcelona. And not yet visible, I think, but out in the distance, number 3 is going to be a United Airlines Dreamliner arriving from Chicago. Good morning, Suprajit. Good morning, Yanis. Hey there, Tina. Good morning. Hope you all are doing well on this Friday morning. Kuni informing us that there is a Cathay 747 inbound in 1 hour and 15 minutes. Where is it coming from? Hey Joseph, good morning. Now the EasyJet A319 vacating the runway over here where the first exit is. And Kuni says that the 747 is arriving from Dubai, flying in the vicinity of Vienna right now. Well, hopefully by the time it arrives, the traffic will only arrive on 18 right. If not, we'll only get to see it from a distance as with the planes that we saw just now, up to the A319. So in the meantime, this is an A320neo from Vueling arriving from Barcelona. which is doing a landing that you typically see from the KLM boys and girls. Keeping up the speed, vacating the runway at a later exit. Now, next up will be United Airlines Flight 909, arriving from Chicago. Boeing 7878 Dreamliner that departed from its location of origin 7 hours and 40 minutes ago. The airplane is 10 years old and had its first flight in December of 2012. Hey Marissa, goedemorgen, good morning. How's life? Now, in the top of the screen, the next airplane, or at least one of the next airplanes. Ooh, focus. Still an early morning for my camera as well, by the looks of it. So next up is going to be an A320 arriving from Frankfurt, and after that we are going to see the Finnair A350 arriving from Helsinki. Hey Mol, good morning, goedemorgen, welcome to the stream, hope you're doing well on this Liberation Day. The day the Netherlands celebrates the liberation from the German occupation in the Second World War. How do we celebrate it? By just working. For some reason, a while ago, the Dutch government decided that only once every 5 years it is going to be an official holiday. So every year that is a multiple of 5, we have a day off in the Netherlands, and the 4 other years it's just a regular working day. So that means that the next Liberation Day where everybody will be off will be in 2025. So much for freedom. Little ironic. Now the Lufthansa Airbus keeping up the speed. And you're right, Marissa, 18C is back in use again. I saw that they already used it yesterday evening for a couple of departures. I think around dinner time. So they have definitely reopened it again. In view right now is an A350-900 from Finnair, flight 1301, arriving from Helsinki, where it left 2 hours and 5 minutes ago. The airplane you guys are looking at is 5 years old and had its first flight in June 2017. Even though the livery is somewhat boring, somewhat bland, it is still a beautiful airplane to look at, regardless of the livery. Hey there Han, goedemorgen, good morning. How are you doing on this Friday morning? Right, and Minister says that 18 right is the only runway currently in use for arrivals. That's good news. What are we expecting? First up will be an Embraer 190 arriving from London City. After that, a 737, and after that, an Embraer 195. So this is KLM flight 982, an Embraer 190 arriving from London City, where it left 40 minutes ago. And this Embraer is 12 years old and had its first flight in August 2010. The next airplane already visible in the top left corner of the screen. So hopefully by the time the aforementioned 747 is arriving over here, the current runway configuration will still be in place, because then it is going to land right here on this runway where we are standing next to. The upside of 18 Center also being active again is that at least when traffic is going to be directed to that runway from over here, you can at least still see it and follow it for the most part. Although not as up close as you can with traffic that is landing over here, of course, but better than when it goes to a different runway altogether. So this is Sun Express 737 arriving from Kayseri, which I probably totally mispronounced. Hey there, Jean-Yves. Good morning. Comment ça va? Now I'm looking behind me. Thought I heard a helicopter, but don't have it in my sight. Maybe it was a motorcycle. Hey there, Leo, good morning. How's life? Next up, an Embraer from Lot, arriving from Warsaw. Lot flight 265. It is an Embraer 195 long range, 13 years old, had its first flight in January 2010. This airplane departed from Warsaw an hour and 47 minutes ago. Now, if we quickly turn back the camera, we can see the next airplane arriving, which is Air Baltic. It is an Air Baltic A329 arriving from Vilnius, where it left 2 hours and 17 minutes ago. This particular A329, 4 years old, had its first flight in March 2019. Air Baltic flight 961. Goed om te horen, Jean-Yves. Very nice to hear. Now, let's see how the A329 touches down. Pilots are experiencing a little bit of crosswind from this runway heading. Nothing to write home about, very well performed. The wind is blowing from the southwest at the moment. These airplanes are landing in southerly direction. So there is crosswind from the right for these airplanes, which means that they are, insofar as you can call it crabbing, they are leaning a little bit against the wind in our direction. A380 above Schiphol, Martin says. Let me look up. Don't see any contrails at the moment. So it's flying without a contrail, which makes it more difficult for me to spot. Don't see anything, unfortunately. Ryanair arriving from Dublin. High speed pass. So still a few more narrow bodies in the pipeline. The first one being an A320 from Air France arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle. So this is Air France flight 1340, and you can see that the airplane's nose is pointing a little bit towards us. That's because of the slight crosswind that they are experiencing from the right. Short flight, Paris Charles de Gaulle. The airplane departed from Paris 45 minutes ago. This is a 13-year-old airplane, had its first flight in April 2010. Ah, so I totally missed the A380, it was overseas already. They are flying quickly, but I still didn't see a contrail. So apparently not a lot of humidity on the altitude where the A380 was flying. Oh, little bit of squeakiness in the brakes there. Hey Martijn, goedemorgen, good morning. So this would be an SAS Embraer 195 arriving from Copenhagen. Left an hour and 9 minutes ago. This airplane, 15 years old, had its first flight in January 2008. And another Embraer is going to follow it from KLM, arriving from Hamburg. Now Roshan, I cannot promise you anything. It is still a long way out, the A380 from Emirates. and the weather is also not that promising. I was thinking about streaming until 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock or something like that. But it's also going to depend on how the weather is going to develop. Looking to the south where the weather is coming from, you guys can see that it is more cloudy. No immediate threat of rain showers just yet, but they are in the forecast for today. So this is definitely one of those days that you also have to keep the weather radar in check on a regular basis. Speaking of which, let me open up buienradar at the moment. And have a look-see. Okay, might be some showers forming already. If I look at Zeeland. Okay, so at the moment the buienradar app, the weather radar app, one of the big ones over here in the Netherlands, says that rain is going to fall around 11 o'clock already. I believe that they also are going to issue a code yellow warning this afternoon for thunderstorms, thunder showers. In the meantime, I think this, if I did my homework correctly, this would be a Grebe, a fuut. And a pretty one at that. Air Europa 737. Right. Let's go back to flight radar. And Jean-Yves' ex had the same haircut as the bird we saw just now. Alright, so now let's have a look on flight radar. Seems that the first airplane to arrive is going to be a 737-900 from El Al, arriving from Tel Aviv. Don't see any other airplanes in the vicinity just yet. So let me take this moment to take a quick sip of water. Let's do some bird watching then instead. In the meantime, if I look at flight radar, there is traffic arriving. Also a 777 arriving from Johannesburg that is now in the Rotterdam area. So that is still, what is it, 10-15 minutes out or so. Looking around, I don't see any other birds in the water at the moment. So if I give you guys the weather overview, this is the south, and this is the southwest, this is where the weather is coming from. Now back in the distance you can see it's not looking that great. So we might be in for a short stream today, unfortunately. This is to the east. Still looking nice, a lot of blue sky, some friendly high clouds. Now the north you guys have seen already, still a lot of blue, but if you look in the direction where the weather is coming from, things look a little different. Now I think I might take this moment also to put back on my hoodie. With the wind blowing and the sun being a little bit obscured by the clouds, it is getting a little bit chilly. Let me put on my hat with the microphone again. Hey Lane, goedemorgen, good morning. And Hans says some rain in Rotterdam area, exactly. And if those showers start intensifying, might be a full-blown shower by the time it arrives at Schiphol. So the weather radar is definitely an app that I need to have a close eye on this morning. Don't think that this is going to be a record length stream today, although I did what's the right word for it? I did already upgrade my daily allowance of 10 gigabytes with 6 more gigabytes just to be sure, which I totally forgot to do yesterday. So after 3.5 hours of streaming, and when the bitrate is good, a typical just under 3 gigabytes per hour data usage, my 10 gigabytes, the standard allotment, was used, and that's why the stream yesterday ended so suddenly. For some reason those unlimited subscriptions are not unlimited without you needing to do something. You have 10 gigabytes per day. If you need to use more, you have to go into the app of the provider and click a few buttons basically. So it's just a minute work, not too much. It's a formality more than anything. But if you forget to do it and you've been streaming for 3.5 hours already, then all of a sudden you start having buffering issues. So apologies for what happened yesterday at the end of the stream. That was totally an operator error. Now you guys can see that the fireman patrol is also underway. They will probably pass us by in a few minutes. They will typically also sound their horn and wave. Hey, good morning, Jenny Carver. Nice and sunny in Liverpool. Well, I'm jealous. We had some sun over here this morning, but now it's hiding behind some milky high clouds, and looking in the direction of where the weather is coming from today doesn't seem to be improving anytime soon. Now, In the meantime, the first airplane to arrive is getting closer by, so let me zoom in on that. Also go to flight radar and give you guys some background information. LL 737, flight 337, arriving from Tel Aviv. It is a Boeing 737-900ER. Departed from Tel Aviv 4 hours 22 minutes ago. This airplane 8 years old and had its first flight in July 2014. And Marissa not making me jealous by saying that in Apeldoorn the sun is still out. Well, looking to the east, I can definitely confirm that it seems more sunny over there than over here. Oh, look at that, a little wheelie. Now the wheelie competition hasn't really begun yet. Maybe this would be the first contender, although it's not likely to become the winner, but it was a little wheelie nonetheless. Hey Ingo and Steffi, good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Now over here at the Polderbaan, it is starting to get a little more cloudy. Let me see, where are the firefighters? Oh, there they are. Since there are no other planes visible just yet, but that is just a matter of time. And the first airplane, by the looks of it, is going to be an Embraer 190 from KLM arriving from Prague, and maybe number 2 is going to be the 777-200 from KLM arriving from Johannesburg. For the time being, let's focus on the daily firefighter round around Polderbaan. Hey there Arjan Prins, goedemorgen. Happy Liberation Day. Alright, and Hans says, according to the main wind direction and until later this afternoon, they might change to runway 27 for landing. Let me have a look. You really need to lift you really need to lift your arm and wave to them, but then they will sound the horn. Some other spectators further down the road apparently. Maybe at the Spottersplatz itself. Probably some people already. By the time I arrived, there was still nobody there. I was the first car on the parking lot over there. Right, so let's quickly turn around the camera. The Embraer 190 has become visible in the meantime, and in the background we can see the 777 arriving from Johannesburg, but in the foreground we have, hey Danny Rules, good morning. This is KLM flight 1352, Embraer 190 in the Sky Team livery, arriving from Prague, where it left an hour and 9 minutes ago. This airplane 11 years old and had its first flight in April 2012. Aryan asking what camera I'm using. I'm using a Canon XA40 camera. Michael Jackson, good morning. Not from Florida, but from Kansas this time round. Sleep deprived. Well, I hope you're otherwise well, mate. Good to see you again. Now, for those of you tuning in later, welcome to AMS Live. You're watching Arrivals on the Polderbaan. My name is Boy. Earlier this morning, we had some parallel arrivals taking place. Yesterday evening, I think, they reopened the Zwanenburgbaan, runway 18 center, 36 center. So earlier this morning we had parallel arrivals. The wind is blowing from the southwest. These airplanes are landing to the south, so they have a little bit of crosswind from the right. Now, it is said that rain showers are arriving from the southwest later in the day. If you look in that direction, which I am pointing the camera to right now, you do see that there is some more milkiness in the sky already. This is towards the east, and this is back to the north, and you can see this is a much better view to look at, although the wind is coming from behind. So I have no idea how long I will be streaming for today, because if there are thunderstorms approaching, I will have to wrap it up. Being out in the field when thunderstorms are moving in, not the best idea. Now this is KLM flight 592, 777-200 arriving from Johannesburg in South Africa. This is a 777-200 ER, 18 years old no less. Had its first flight in September 2004 and it left Johannesburg 10 hours and almost 30 minutes ago. Hey there Edwin and hey there Albert. Happy Liberation Day. A normal working day this year, ironically. Now, if you guys are liking what you're seeing, do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. It allows you to turn on notifications so that whenever I go live you receive a heads up and can join us once again. And it also helps me to reach more people like you and me who are also into content like this. Beautiful. Quiet, but still pretty. And Albert has a day off. Damn that CAO. That could definitely have been worse. Yeah, as I said before, for those of you unfamiliar with Liberation Day, it is the day that the Netherlands celebrates the liberation from German occupation back in the Second World War. Now, it used to be a day off every year, and some time ago the Dutch government changed that, and now only years that are a plural of 5 are an official day off. So the next one will be 2025. And all the other years it's a regular working day for most people. So we are now looking at EasyJet flight. Here we go. 28674. Like reciting a phone number. A320neo, also in the Neo livery, arriving from London Gatwick, where it left 40 minutes ago. This is according to Flight Radar, brand new airplane. Had its first flight July last year, so it's less than a year old. And we will be seeing another A320neo behind it from SAS. So 2 Neos back to back. So for those of you tuning in later, again, this is the Polderbaan runway 18 right. At the moment in use as only runway for arrivals, although earlier in the morning we had parallel arrivals with 18 center also being in use again after a few months being closed for maintenance. Temperature, as I was setting up, was already 15 degrees centigrade, so approximately 60 degrees Fahrenheit. It's set to become 20 or so degrees as the day is high. So that is, what is it? 2 times 20 plus 30, approximately 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Wind is blowing from the southwest. These airplanes are landing to the south. Hey there, Joppie Joppie, goedemorgen, good morning. Hope you are doing well. And in the Grebe Media CAO, it's every year a day off since 2 years ago. That's a very nice bonus that Albert has according to his collective labor conditions agreement. I think there is probably a term for in the English language, but I don't know what it is. The collective agreement between the unions and the representative organizations of employers in a certain branch of work. So this SAS Neo arriving from Oslo with the sunglasses on. Someone had a nose job, Marissa says. Yeah, if it's not a blue clown's nose, then it might be something different, but a lot of airplanes on the streams the last couple of weeks we see with different nose cones compared to their standard livery. Now, looking ahead in the pipeline at the moment, first 2 narrow bodies, and number 3 looks like it's going to be a Dreamliner arriving from Cartagena. First up, this A319 from EasyJet that is arriving from Birmingham, flight 27842. Left Birmingham 47 minutes ago. The airplane, 13 years old, had its first flight in September 2009. And thank you so much, Pauline, for the happy Liberation Day. Welcome to the stream and good morning to you. Hope you're well on what is Liberation Day over here. Now the A319 vacating at the first exit. Morning again, Leo. We just keep saying good morning to each other. And why not? So far it is still a good morning. Yillard says that Air China Cargo 747 is now above Hoogezand and on its way to Schiphol. Very good news indeed. Let me zoom out a little bit. So for some reason I don't see it on flight radar. Doesn't matter. We'll find out soon enough. First up, a 737-800 from KLM arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle. Hey Peppy Pittel, guten Morgen, herzlich willkommen. The Sumo Burger says, today is no liberation day for me, but the day that I lost my freedom. 47th wedding anniversary. Well, my condolences to you then. No freedom for you. This is KLM flight 747. It is a Dreamliner 7879 arriving from Cartagena, where it left 8 hours 44 minutes ago. This airplane, 7 years old, had its first flight in January 2016. And it is a good day for stream, Peppy. Absolutely. For how long? That remains to be seen. We are awaiting rain showers and possibly even thunderstorms later in the day. So we'll have to keep a close eye out for the weather radar today. So this is the south, this is the southwest. It is the direction of the wind today and also where the weather is coming from. So we'll have to keep a close eye out for possible rain showers later. For now it still looks good. And the next two planes are going to be first a Croatia Airlines A319 arriving from Zagreb, and after that we are going to see a Turkish A330. Now yesterday afternoon in the stream we had somebody that kept requesting when is the Turkish coming, and the answer is it is number 2 in the top left corner. Hey there Catherine, good morning. Hey Rick, goedemorgen. Now don't tell me, Rick, that up north you guys are having sunny weather still as well, just as Marissa in Apeldoorn. So Croatia Airlines flight 450 is where we are looking at now. A319 arriving from Zagreb, where it left an hour and 39 minutes ago. The airplane, 22 years old, had its first flight in June 2000. You can see that there's a little bit of crosswind from the right as the nose points a little bit towards us. Not a whole lot of wind. And the spoiler's also down. And the next plane almost touching down already, as the previous one has just vacated the runway. Turkish Airlines flight 1951, Airbus A330-300 arriving from Istanbul, where it left 3 hours exactly ago, according to flight radar at least. The airplane 8 years old, first flight April 2015. Wheelie contender number 2 might have been a bit longer than the previous one, although for an A330 not the longest we've ever seen. Triples and the A330s, the absolute kings of wheelies. Hey there Bashar, good morning. Checking in from Amman in Jordan. How's life over there? Probably a bit warmer than it is over here. AOV Dog says strato tanker to your left in a second. 27,000 feet. Well, I'm looking up as we speak. The thing is, and I can show you guys as well, this is pointing up. It is milky. Really hard to see contrails under these weather conditions, because the sky is getting ever more milky at the moment. This is in the direction of the wind. You guys can see. Definitely have to keep a close eye out on the weather radar. Unfortunately, I don't think I will be able to identify the strato tanker under these weather conditions. Now, let's have a look. At the moment, we are still in a bit of a lull. Although more traffic is underway. Marissa says Air China now above IJsselmeer. Well, for some reason I don't see it on flight radar. I'm not saying that I don't believe you, but I'm just saying that it doesn't show on flight radar, as I've had happen before with other planes as well. And Renee also warning for a Queen inbound in a couple of minutes. Well, I'll have to keep my eyes out for it then, because I don't see any Queens on flight radar. I have a filter on for NA, right. Check. I always filter on either inbound AMS or outbound AMS, depending on what runway I'm standing next to and what kind of traffic we are spotting. Okay, so near Enkhuizen. Excellent. And Albert has to go right before the Queen is coming. That's a very poor timing. I will timestamp, as I always do, the highlights regardless once I get home. So if you want to look it back, I'll make that easy for you. The hybrid heat pump. Maintenance man coming. Also very important. And S. Andorio asks why the PHGov does not appear on flight radar, but it does on radar box. I have no idea. It's an interesting question. Probably different feeds, but why it's visible on the one and not on the other? Well, Rick, the wind is coming from the southwest actually. If I show you the chimney in the distance, where is it? I think it's over there. Here you can see that the smoke is blowing more or less away from away from us, the way the camera is pointing. So the wind is from the southwest. And since it's not blowing that hard, I think it does make sense to use at least the polderbaan. Given that it's a preferential runway. They've even used it when there is 90 degrees crosswind, no less. So polderbaan and kaagbaan are almost sure bets that are almost always in use for traffic. Now, as of yesterday, 18 Center, 36 Center is also back in use, so we can also have parallel arrivals. Or do they also depart to the north? I don't think so. Huh. In the meantime, more traffic is visible on flight radar. Martin also giving an update of the China 747. We are going to see more traffic inbound in a few minutes, and in the meantime I see that Bashar was so kind to give a super chat. Thank you so much, Bashar, for your super chat. 2 queens coming in next 15 minutes. So ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere, unless of course your maintenance guy for the heat, the hybrid pump is knocking on the door. Then of course you have to do that. But let me take this moment to update and look at the buienradar. I do see some landing lights turned on in the distance right now. Now, the weather forecast for the upcoming 3 hours does not look that good. There are some rain showers in the Rotterdam area already. They do seem to dissolve a little bit as they move to the northeast. But I don't think we're going to keep it dry for the entire morning, let alone until the arrival of the A380. So it might be a short stream this morning. Now the prediction says that rain is going to start falling over here after 11 o'clock. But since it's also dissolving a little bit as it moves to the northeast, might also be a bit later, but yeah, you never know for sure. 3 queens inbound, says Renee. All in the Netherlands now, so yeah. Sound issues. Let me have a look. On my end, everything seems to be working. Any other people at the moment experiencing sound issues? And ambient or voiceover, if you are experiencing sound issues. Sound is great, no problem. Okay. Hopefully it was just a temporary thing. On my end, everything seems to be working in order still. Now, first up, and visible on flight radar, SAS flight 1553 A320neo arriving from Stockholm, where it left an hour and 40 minutes ago. This airplane, 4 years old, had its first flight in August 2018. And also a nose job, or some sunscreen, or some other stuff that you might put onto or into your nose. And a KLM style arrival. Keeping up the speed, staying on the runway, exiting later. All right. Now, let's see. So there is the first queen in the top, the bottom left corner. Although I don't see it on flight radar, I do have it visual. In the foreground, first up, Air Canada flight 808, Boeing 7878 Dreamliner arriving from Toronto, Canada, where it departed almost 7 hours ago. The airplane 8 years old, first flight August 2014. Okay, the people who experienced sound issues seem to have regular sound again after reloading the stream. So hopefully it was just a YouTube issue. Now, lovely view, two big birds in one shot. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any background details of the Queen in the background. Hey Maggie, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Nice to see you again. First up, Air Canada 808. As soon as the spoilers deploy, away goes the flex. Now, ordinarily we would follow this airplane a bit longer, but there's a Queen coming. Hey Wendy, goedemorgen. Happy Liberation Day, good morning. Ina, also checking in. Hope you're doing well, Ina. Ladies and gentlemen, the first Queen of the day. Unfortunately, I don't have any background details for this airplane. Rick saying that there's also a Delta A350 underway. Excellent. First up, the first of 3 Queens, if I understood it correctly, that are currently flying over the Netherlands airspace. This looks like an Air China Cargo 747 if I take a quick peek on the big screen. Hey there Paul, goedemorgen, good morning. Hope you're doing well, mate. Now folks, if you guys are liking what you're seeing and you haven't done so already, do consider subscribing to the channel. Make sure that you turn on notifications so that whenever I go live you receive a heads up. If you want to see more content like this in the future. Now I really hope that my new Sennheiser shotgun mic provided the sound that you guys would be able to hear if you were standing next to me over here. Royal application of the thrust reversers there right in front of us. Beautiful. Never gets boring. Alright, so 2 more 747s are inbound from what I understand, so don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. In the meantime, ALV Dog sends a smiling face with heart eyes super sticker. Thank you so much for that, my friend. And in the meantime, K2 also coming to say hi. Schiphol Scarecrow, the bird controller. Another Lufthansa Airbus. Touching down. Tina York, that's a big misunderstanding. Ironically, Liberation Day is being celebrated in the Netherlands as a normal working day for most people. It used to be a day off for the entire country back in the day, but some time ago the Dutch government thought, nah, let's change that. So now every year that is a multiple of 5 is an official holiday. So the next one is going to be 2025, and until then it is, for most people at least, a regular working day over here. Now, Renee says that the next screens are there in about 10 minutes, the second one in about 15 minutes. In the meantime, the pipeline is filling up nicely with also a couple of heavies in the meantime. Before we get to that, first this E2 Embraer 195 KLM flight 1822. It is arriving from Berlin, where it left an hour and 3 minutes ago. This airplane, brand new, had its first flight January this year. Still under warranty, and it should be shiny new on the outside as well. Indeed, Marissa, it is like a mini triple. I'm still curious which of the two has the biggest or the smallest ratio of engine diameter versus fuselage diameter. Is it the 777 or is it the Embraer E2 195? Ah, Rick, good question. Well, almost always when I'm busy, people are watching because I am operating a tripod and a big camera, and nowadays even a bigger microphone. The police already know who I am. My second and third subscribers are 2 police guys that, after having done my first live stream back in the end of November, I think it was, came up to me and we had a nice friendly chat because the guys had seen me when I was out doing testing beforehand. They were just curious what it is that I was carrying along with me. Now you guys could have seen on the picture that Lambert Blickman recently made and sent me, that I also posted on the community page, that I have a quite elaborate setup with a camping table where a laptop tent is on and a power supply. So yeah, the police, they already know me, and always a friendly wave. And other people, yeah, if I'm done streaming, if I'm not actively chatting to you guys, then they do approach and ask what I'm doing. Most people, they do have a look, but they can also hear me, of course, speaking into thin air apparently. So they'll see that I am busy and they are friendly enough not to interrupt most of the time. Although some small children sometimes come have a look, but that's always nice. Always make time to have a little chat with them. So, KLM flight, what is it, 644? 787-10 Dreamliner arriving from New York JFK. Just look at the length of the fuselage. It always seems much smaller when you look at it from the front, but then as it passes by and you have to zoom out to get it in full frame, you just see how much longer it actually is. Same goes for the 777-300. From the front doesn't look that big. Yeah, you can see that it's a big plane, but not that the fuselage is so long as it actually is. Hey Frank, goedemorgen, good morning. And Dennis Lutter asks, next week Saturday also live, flying to Curaçao at 3:30. Well, I will go out if the weather allows me to. Although I don't know yet at what time I will be going out and if I'm going to go to stream inbound or outbound traffic, but it's good to know. Have to keep that in mind. Maybe can also capture it. So inbound next, Delta Airlines flight 74, A359 arriving from Atlanta, Georgia, where it left 7 hours 54 minutes ago. The airplane is 3 years old. Had its first flight in October 2019. I always like the look of those curved winglets. I wish that all airplanes would have curved instead of angled winglets. Makes for a much more aesthetically pleasing visual. In the meantime, I see that Catherine Green just became a member. Thank you so much for your kind support, Catherine, and welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. You're now able to use such emojis as the Nintendo Duck Hunt dog and the bananas for when a DHL A300 is arriving. First up will be another 737 arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle. This is KLM flight 1228. 12 years old, first flight November 2010. Now it won't be long for the next queen to arrive. We've seen the first, there are two still out there waiting to show themselves to us. For those of you joining later, welcome to AMS Live. My name is Boy. This is the Polderbaan, runway 18 right. Currently the only runway in use for arrivals. Wind is blowing from the southwest. Rain showers are inbound. So we'll have to keep a close eye out on the weather radar to see how long it's going to stay dry over here. Temperature, as I was setting up, was around 15 degrees centigrade or approximately 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Slowly but surely it is getting more cloudy over here. And what is that? Is that the second queen? Hard for me to see on my little screen, but it might well be. Here, a lovely 777. Here too you can see how long the fuselage is as it passes by. 777-300 arriving from Cape Town. Luther asks, can I say polderbaan again? Polderbaan, polderbaan, polderbaan. And René says that the second queen turned final. So it was the queen after all, the second queen of 3. Hey, photo for you, good morning. Well, in fact, as I was mentioning earlier already, and the queen is now number 3, to the most left. I already noticed yesterday afternoon around dinner time that they reopened the Zwanenburgbaan for departures back then. And earlier this morning they have also used it for parallel arrivals again. So yeah, it's open again. Earlier than expected. Still according to the original planning, or at least the updated original planning. Originally it was supposed to open again somewhere in April, then it became beginning of May, and that is actually what apparently has happened. Hey Frank, good morning. I'm doing well, thank you. How are you doing over there? In Limburg, if I'm not mistaken. In the meantime, this is an EasyJet A320neo arriving from Prague. Brand new. Had its first flight in October 2022. Also in the neo livery. Now, Rick says if you say polderbaan 5 times, a genie will pop up and will grant you a wish. Polderbaan, 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 polderbaan. I wish no rain for today. Remco, where are you at the moment? Where is it raining hard already? In the meantime, BH Air arriving from Erbil. White liveried airplane. Looking at flight radar. Left Erbil 4 hours and 50 minutes ago. 17-year-old airplane had its first flight in May 2005. Okay, Nieuwerbrug between Bodegraven and Woerden, so relatively close by already. Now, looking to the south, it doesn't look that good. I think that might be the rain shower near Remco in the distance. The wind is coming from over there, the southwest. So I have to be very careful. Don't want to be caught in a thunderstorm out in a field with electrical equipment. Here is queen number 2. It is Cathay Pacific Cargo. Or Cathay Pacific, I should say. Arriving from Dubai. Boeing 747-800. 11 years old already. First flight November 2011. talking about long fuselages. I think the 747-800 and the A340-600 are the longest, and I think that if I'm not mistaken, that the Airbus is even a tad longer, or maybe this one is. And in the meantime, I've been told that the next queen is already, and you can see it. So, third plane in the bottom left to arrive. First up, A737. And in the meantime, thank you so much for your super sticker, ALV dog, astonished face. Folks, if you guys are liking what you're seeing, do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. Greatly helps me to reach more people like you and me who are also into content like this. Plus, it allows you to turn on notifications so that whenever I go live in the future, and I'm going live on a regular basis, you receive a notification and can join us once again for more action such as today. In the meantime, what you guys might have heard were two coots that were chasing each other. Apparently a fight for territory over here. Two single coot gangs fighting each other for territory. Ooh, wheelie contender. We have a wheelie contender. Now we haven't seen extravagantly long wheelies yet today. And considering the weather, I'm wondering if we are going to, but this was a nice one as well. In the meantime, I see that Dennis Slutter was so kind to donate a very generous super chat. Thank you so much, Dennis. Really, really appreciate it, my friend. Thank you so much. We are going to see another queen, but not before we are seeing an A319. Now the queen is already visible. The A319 is in the foreground. Now, it is an ITA Airways. And a lot of you guys, including myself, do like that livery. So let's have a quick look at the touchdown and then go back to the 747. Particularly when the sun is shining. The Azzurro of ITA Airways. Even though, as much as I like KLM, I do believe that I like this shade of blue better. Alright, well, duty calls. The third queen of the skies, ladies and gentlemen. Here she is. It is a classic 747-400 from Suparna Airlines arriving from Nanjing in China. It left there 10 hours 52 minutes ago. This is a relatively young 747. 15 years old, had its first flight in July 2007. So for a 747-400, relatively young. Has to be one of the last ones that were produced. When was the last 747-400 delivered? Or have they kept producing it parallel to the 800s? I don't know that actually, come to think of it. Oh yeah. Application of the reverse thrust right in front of us. Beautiful sound. Now the spoilers are going to go down probably in a moment now. Then gradually they are going to retract the flaps. And again folks, if you are enjoying this stream so far and you're not a subscriber yet, do consider subscribing. Helps me to reach more people like you and me, and it also enables you to turn on notifications so that whenever I go live you receive notification and can join us once again if you have the time for it and are feeling like it. Now the 747 still has a long way to taxi back to the cargo area of Schiphol. Yesterday I was streaming alongside the Kaagbaan, runway 0624, and on both sides of that runway is the cargo area of the main platform area. So from over here it is still a 15-minute taxi or so. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the layout of Schiphol Airport, the runway I'm standing next to is the Polderbaan. It is the latest addition to the network of runways of Schiphol Airport. The runway was opened in 2003, and behind the trees you can see the main control tower of Schiphol Airport. That is right in the heart of where the main terminal building is and where also all the gates are. So just to give you some perspective, these airplanes are landing really far away from the control tower, which is why this runway has its dedicated control tower visible over here. Because even when visibility is good, you can imagine that it's very hard to see what's going on over here from that tower I showed you in the beginning over there. Now in the meantime, the clouds are getting a bit darker, but it doesn't seem to be coming directly towards me. Let me have a look. Now, let's first watch the next airplane, because it is another ITA Airways. Beautiful blue liveried Airbus 108 A320neo arriving from Rome, where it left 2 hours and 1 minute ago. The airplane is brand new, had its first flight last December, so it is still under warranty. Beautiful Azzurro. Che bello. Now, almost forgot that I saw a super sticker, yet another super sticker from AOV Dog, drooling face sticker coming along. Thank you so much for your kind support, my friend. Really appreciate it. Now, the rain shower I think Remco was referring to earlier, I think is in the distance over there, and you can see that it is moving to the left the way the camera is pointing. So let's have a look on Buienradar once again, because looking to the direction of the wind, which is coming from the southwest, which is over there, you do see some dark clouds in the distance. Buienradar. The past hour, the weather radar shows that there are indeed showers approaching. They also, yeah, they're not exactly dissolving. Right, now prediction for the next 3 hours. The moment they are predicting rain to begin around 11:30 or so. So let's check in 15 minutes again and see what the status is by then. Right. In the meantime, another EasyJet has just touched down. A Neo. Also in the Neo livery. Still nicely shining in the little bit of sunshine that is trying to show its face between the clouds over here. But you can definitely see that it is getting more cloudy by the minute. Now, next up, what is this that we are looking at? It is a Dreamliner from KLM. It is KLM flight 668. It is a Boeing 7879 Dreamliner arriving from Austin, Texas, where it left 9 hours and 3 minutes ago. This Dreamliner is 7 years old, had its first flight in April 2016. Rick mentioned that the sound changed a little. Are you talking about the voiceover or ambient sound? And question to the other viewers, are you guys experiencing this as well? Let me quickly check. DJI mic still operational. ATEM Mini, everything is in order. Checking my DJI mic transmitter, green light. As far as I can see on my end, everything still seems to be working normally, as it should. ALV Dog has no issues with the sound. Yorkshire Biker says sounds okay now though. Catherine confirming sound okay. Okay. Well, maybe it was another glitch in YouTube. Last time it happened to people, reloading the stream solved it for them. Okay, voice went a bit quiet, but only temporarily. Yeah, I thought that I also had some clipping issues, and yesterday I got the impression that it did improve, not fully gone yet. So what I also did today was lower the volume on my ATEM Mini for the voiceover just a tad. Hopefully that made things better, but I'm wondering if maybe sometimes the wireless DJI mic connection is causing some issues. I did upgrade the firmware earlier this week in the hope that that would improve things as well. It is very much trial and error, gradually trying to perfect everything. I think we're quite far underway already. Sometimes it is a bit tricky. Francis checking in from Dover and says that sound is fine. Ina also confirming. Rokost also says very good sound, no problems. Well, keep informing me, guys. Always good to check. So far everything on my end is stably working normally. So yeah, this is where the wind is blowing from, ladies and gentlemen. So don't know how long I'm going to be able to stream for. Does look a bit threatening, and also the Buienradar, the weather radar app over here in the Netherlands, doesn't seem that optimistic. Now 3 queens within half an hour, that's at least something. Air Malta cutting costs on the livery paint. Yeah, let's just put Air Malta on the livery, make it as small as possible so that only streamers with a large lens can zoom in on it and see it, and let's just keep it white. Hey Frank, bye for now, hope to see you again soon. Thanks for joining us this morning. Hey there Rainer, good morning. And me myself confirming what I already thought I saw on Flight Radar just now. Buienradar, not Flight Radar. Rain expected around 11:30. So I will be checking in 15 minutes again. If it doesn't change, I might have to wrap it up to allow me some time to pack all my electrical equipment in. Time will tell. It does make for a nice contrast with the sun illuminating the airplane and the ever darker growing clouds in the background. Next up, a very short flight from KLM arriving from Brussels, 737-800. Just a short flight, still 28 minutes ago that it left. Find that hard to believe. Maybe that's when the pushback started. The actual flying time is absolutely not so long. 4-year-old aircraft, first flight in March 2019. So this is textbook KLM, keeping up the speed, staying on the runway, taking a later exit, shortening the taxi time to the gate as much as possible. And the Embraer before it, still visible in the distance. Hey Janet, good day. Just gotten back from Melbourne, little bit of plane spotting there. And landed at Schiphol yesterday with the SQ. Excellent choice. Now, let's have a look. The next airplane is an A320 from Iberia. Iberia Express, arriving from Madrid. Nine-year-old airplane, first flight September 2013. Landing on Dutch soil after airborne, or at least a flight of almost 2 hours. Iberia Express slowing down, vacating the runway over here. First exit. Current status quo. Looking over there. I do think that is precipitation. Luckily no thunderstorms, but it doesn't look that well. Hey there Daniel, good morning. Any ducks today? Daniel asks. Well, good question. We did saw a grebe and I did see 2 coots earlier. Ducks, and I'm looking around as we speak. Not so much. Typical. Playing hide and seek on a Friday. Liberation Day, but they don't feel liberated enough to show themselves today. Is it me? Or has it already slowed down tremendously before? Huh, that looked odd. For some reason it felt off. Now it is taking the first exit here. Was already slowed down a lot before it ever reached us. And yeah, in fact at the oh wait, hey! I think they are keeping themselves quiet, but these are actually ducks. So yeah, there are ducks over here after all, but they keep quiet and keep to themselves today. It has been the coots that were stirring the most trouble this morning. Turf war. No ducklings for this duck couple by the looks of it. Yesterday, if you guys missed it, do look back. I think I also highlighted it. We saw a mama duck with small ducklings, no less than 11, ladies and gentlemen. It was like a bunch of feathery fluffiness. Alright, let's have a look. A320neo and a Dreamliner inbound from Las Vegas after that. And after the Dreamliner, let me recheck. Oh wait, there's also a 777 arriving from San Francisco. Come on. There we go. All 3 planes visible at once. A320neo arriving from Copenhagen in the foreground. EasyJet. Number 2. Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner arriving from Las Vegas. And number 3 in the top left is United Airlines arriving from San Francisco. 777-200. Nice to see the glide slope in view like so. So, A320neo first. EasyJet arriving from Copenhagen, Denmark. I think we might hear a Dreamliner departing or having departed from the Kaagbaan, passing us by. The other side. Minister saying runway 27 now also open for arrivals. Well, I think it is a sign of the gods. Maybe after the 777, depending on what the weather radar looks like, but visually it doesn't look like the rain shower is going to miss me. So I might have to wrap it up after the 777, after this Dreamliner. Just to be sure that I get back in one piece with my equipment as well. Yesterday evening on the weather forecast they said that there were some showers in the morning and that the thunderstorms would come in later in the day during the afternoon. Yeah, well, this does not look too promising. Now, up next, 777-200 United Airlines inbound from San Francisco. It is United Airlines flight 968. 777-200 ER left San Francisco 9 hours 41 minutes ago. This airplane is an old one, relatively. 25 years old, had its first flight in September 1997. And indeed, Michael Jackson, there are showers underway. I'll have a look on the weather radar one more time, but I think this might be the last plane of the day. Not as long as I normally am out for, but conservation of equipment is of paramount importance. Also a wheelie, not too long though. Now, for its age, the livery still looks quite nice. You can see some dust and smutchiness on the outer flaps. Other than that, the main fuselage looks relatively clean and fresh for considering its age. Okay, now let me in the meantime have a look and double check the radar, but I think the outlook yeah, the majority of the rain is going to pass east of us. If I show you guys the current status quo, this is perpendicular to the runway, so this is facing east. This is parallel to the runway and also to the canal. This is to the south. Now you guys can see on the left hand side the dark clouds in the distance. This is the southwest, the direction of the wind. This is to the west, again perpendicular to the runway, heading towards the sea, where it looks a bit brighter. Now, and of course, this is to the north. I'm not going to risk it, folks. I am going to wrap it up for today. I am looking to go out again tomorrow, but it's all weather dependent, as it always is. The weather forecast for the weekend is not that good in that respect, because rain showers have been forecasted for both Saturday and Sunday, perhaps even on Monday too. Now, the upside of showers is that they are temporary and local, so who knows, it might not be too bad. But I'll have to assess that shortly before going out. For now, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me once again today. If you like what you saw and you haven't done so already, do consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps me to reach more people like you and me who are also into aviation live streams such as these. Plus it enables you to turn on notifications so that whenever I go live again, you receive a heads up, and if you have the time for it and are feeling like it, can join us once again for more live action from the ever-bustling Schiphol airport. I want to thank each and every one of you who was so kind to donate super stickers and super chats. I really appreciate it. You guys are the best, and this channel wouldn't be anything without you guys. So thanks all for your support. Also thanks to everybody who became a member recently. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. Do use those emojis that are available to you whenever the occasion is appropriate. I am going to say goodbye for now. I wish you all a happy Friday. Hopefully I will be seeing you again tomorrow or later during the weekend. If not, have a nice weekend and hopefully see you again soon. Bye for now, folks.